This is a Gear Network production.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy, Mr. Perez, and you're listening to the Better Live Than Dead podcast, brought to you exclusively on Gear Network. Listen in.
Welcome to a very special edition of the Better Live Than Dead podcast, a Better Live Than Dead extra, if you will. Joining me right now on the other end of the microphone is John Cimino of Get Ready America, and we have a very exciting topic to talk about today. First off, John, say hello to the people.
Hello to the people.
Thank you. You are
You're welcome.
You are a people pleaser.
Something like that.
Exactly. Well, today we've got big news. It broke yesterday, but it's official today, as confirmed by the organization. The Buffalo Bills have named ex-New York Jet head coach Rex Ryan as their 18th coach in franchise history. Now, as you may know by listening to both podcasts, John is a lifelong, diehard New York Jets fan. So the first person I wanted to ask about this was you, John, and I know schedules don't always match up, so I figured we would get you on an extra of the Better Live Than Dead this afternoon.
That works for me.
Now, what's your immediate reaction to the news of Rex Ryan going to the Buffalo Bills?
Immediate reaction would be wow, because the defense that the Bills have established under Jim Schwartz, especially, is one of the best I've seen in years. And you combine that now with the mental defensive prowess of Rex Ryan, even though they may keep Jim Schwartz. And that's going to be a whole other can of worms, because if they do keep Jim Schwartz, then, will there be a defensive struggle there? I don't really think so, if that's the case, but I can get into that a little later. But as far as having the defensive line that the Buffalo Bills have with the combined minds of Jim Schwartz and Rex Ryan, I think that the defense will definitely keep the offense in the game. That's the only concern I would have about the Buffalo Bills is the offensive side of the ball.
Now, John, you mentioned the offensive side of things, and the interesting part about it is they're bringing in the offensive coordinator from the San Francisco 49ers, Greg Roman. Deal expected to be finalized tomorrow in Buffalo. But do you think that maybe Rex Ryan has already learned from his mistakes of his time in New York? Because obviously the first 2 years they made the AFC Championship game, and they had an amazing defense, but then they kind of just tailed off, and their offense never really picked up. So it's almost like Rex Ryan knows, if I want to succeed in this league, I need a strong offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I mean, more than that, I think his situation in New York with the Jets was a far different situation than most people would have you believe. I mean, when you look at it, the first 2 years he was essentially given the reins. He was allowed to bring in, free agents. He was allowed to kind of pick and choose what he wanted to do and build the team the way he wanted to. And then they started trying to get stupidly creative. And what ended up happening is the tailspin that you see now as the New York Jets. But as far as Rex Ryan and his ability to coach, the guy can coach. I mean, every year that he was with the New York Jets, with the exception of 2, he was legitimately in contention until late in the season. When you look at the Tebow year, he was in contention until about, I think it was week 15 against the Titans. And then you looked at last year, not this past season, but the season before, year 1 of the Geno Smith experiment, and they were in contention. They finished 8-8, but they were in contention until about week 15 or 16 again. They had a snowball's chance of getting into the playoffs as a wild card with what they had. Now, the problem with Rex Ryan, the downfall of Rex Ryan, is not so much Rex Ryan. It's not so much the offense as much as it is the ownership of the New York Jets. And I'll go on record, I've gone on record and I've stated this over and over again, that Woody Johnson, while he has the greatest name in sports, is probably the worst owner in sports. He listened to too many of the wrong people, and the money got spent poorly. And because of that, that's why you have what you have now. Now, I get it. Rex Ryan is not an offensive mind. That is his weakness. But when you're talking about going from from having Brian Schottenheimer.
Yep.
He had him for 3 years, and then they blamed him for the non-development of Sanchez. So they go with Tony Sperano. How'd that work out? They got rid of him, and then they brought in Marty Mortingweg, who didn't get along with them anyways. And then pass happy, but you don't have receivers to throw to. You don't have a quarterback throwing to. And then the general manager situation, John Idzik, was not. He was great with numbers, great with finances. Got them under the cap, which was good for him. Appreciate that. But they didn't spend any of it.
To
that
me,
was the problem. Upper management was the problem, not Rex.
Yeah, I was going to say, to me, it almost seems like the first 2 years they had a phenomenal defense, and they never took the time to try to go back and put the pieces behind it. Because the one thing about the Buffalo Bills defense, and I'm sure you notice it as well as a lot of people, is they're very deep. So if it's like when Kiko Alonso went down, it was the next guy in line. With the New York Jets, it never seemed to be like that. It was always, we have what we have, and if something happens, we're in a lot of trouble. And that, again,
well, right.
it's not a Rex Ryan thing as much as it is. I almost feel like at some point in time it was just the front office was incompetent and did not know how to successfully build a football team because, Rex Ryan's making chicken salad out of chicken shit essentially, and I'm biased as you are, but putting my blank sports fan cap on, I think it's a huge move for the Buffalo Bills because it says a lot that Terry Pegula, obviously it's first time hiring a head coach as a new owner of the Buffalo Bills. They found the guy they wanted, and the crazy part about it was Rex Ryan had Atlanta and San Francisco as his top two choices. Buffalo was third, but the people close to Rex Ryan say the reason he went to Buffalo is because they made him feel wanted. They made him feel like, you're the guy we want. No one else is as good as for this job as you are. We're going to come and get you, and we're going to give you as much money as you want to. And while they may have overpaid him,
that's good for him.
But it's good for Rex Ryan.
It's absolutely good for Rex Ryan. It's good for Buffalo. It's good for the Buffalo Bills. It's good for the fan base. Rex Ryan is an expert motivator, and
he's a player's coach.
You can tell that he was. He's a player's coach. He is what, as far as the type of coach, the type of bravado that you want on your team. He gave the Jets an identity for the past 6 years. He really did. When you thought of the New York Jets, you thought of Rex Ryan first, the butt fumble second. And that's the way it is, and that's what he's going to bring to Buffalo. You're going to hear Rex Ryan first, and then you're going to hear the defense second, and then you're going to hear the quarterback situation, quote unquote, which, by the way, a lot of people want to come play for Rex Ryan. So Buffalo instantly becomes a destination for free agents because they want to play for Rex Ryan. He has that track record. He has that rapport with players. He's gonna lure free agents there to Buffalo. I don't know that it's gonna become an immediate success, but I think he's going to, within the next 2 to 3 years, get them where they want to be.
Well, as you saw in New York, with as you mentioned with the free agents, is that it's not so much that they wanted to play for the Jets as much as they saw Rex Ryan. They know what he can do. They know he's a player's coach, and he'll go to the ends of the earth to stand up for his players and make sure they are as happy and as comfortable as possible. So I agree with you. You might see a couple guys come to Buffalo just because I want to play under Rex Ryan, or I want to play for Jim Schwartz, and I want to play on that defense because there's guys that are middling in their career that, I don't know what I want to do next. They see a team like Buffalo saying the offense may not be great, but look at that defense. I could play on that defense, be one of the best in the league, be a key piece to the puzzle, and that also plays into Buffalo's hand, like you said. And I think that the fact that they're going to keep, to this point, as far as we know, they're going to keep Jim Schwartz in as defensive coordinator, which I think is almost like the rich get richer, where yes, Rex Ryan is going to bring some of his guys in from New York, and he'll probably I'm assuming Rex Ryan's defensive coordinator will be a very powerful guy under Jim Schwartz because, you and I both know Jim Schwartz is not here for the long haul. He's here until the next head coaching job shows up or the better opportunity at defense, which I'm not sure at this point if there is one, but I digress. I'm
very surprised he's actually wanting to stay or considering staying. I'm very surprised that he hasn't been interviewing.
The only team I've heard so far that wants to interview him is the New York Giants, and I'm not sure if that's a better situation than what he has right now. I mean,
I don't think so. I think that the Bills are on an upswing, and their defense is young and hungry and fierce. So I think that the Bills' situation on the defensive side of things is a much better situation than most out there.
Hi, sorry, I got lost there again. My microphone is not agreeing with this Google Plus thing. But hey, I'm gonna last thought, and then we'll let you go because it's been 10 minutes. We got some good audio from you, John. I do appreciate that. But the one thing I do want to mention first off is that Greg Roman is the type of guy you want coaching EJ Manuel, first and foremost. If he is the guy at quarterback, but right now he is obviously because he's the only option besides Jeff Toole. But secondly, if Bills fans look at what they had a month ago, they had Doug Marrone as the head coach, Nathaniel Hackett as the offensive coordinator, Jim Schwartz as the defensive coordinator. Now it's January. You have Rex Ryan as your head coach, Greg Roman as your offensive coordinator, and you have Jim Schwartz as your defensive coordinator. I would have to say, in the grand scheme of things, that is not bad at all, and it's a complete win for the Buffalo Bills organization, the Buffalo Bills fan base, and we'll find out what happens in the coming days. Now, I wanted to say before we go again, thank you, John, for joining us today at the JC Money on Twitter. Check out Get Ready America each and every single week on the Gear Radio Network. I know we're trying a new audio thing here today with this interview, and things may have not worked out so well, so we'll get the kinks figured out. But like I said, John, I wanted to get you on today and get some words on Rex Ryan and the Buffalo Bills. And if you want more about this breaking news story, as well as more about the breaking news stories from the rest of the week, join myself and Mr. Perez on Better Live Than Dead. It should be up Saturday. I would say Saturday night. We're going to talk more about the Buffalo Bills. We're going to talk about Peyton Manning, the playoffs, Major League Baseball. Check it out exclusively here on the Gear Radio Network. I want to say thank you again for joining us today. We are Better Live Than Dead. You are not. We will talk to you later this week on a complete episode of the Better Live Than Dead podcast exclusively on the Gear Radio Network.